Welcome to the MBI.com. This is John Sports for the 19th, and as we can see, the rally continues within the continued MBI reading with magenta over yellow. No shock there, cyan under red. And the big news, though, was the exceeding of the shakeout above the previous lower push. So all of that's congruent. Now, that doesn't change any of the realities that when we do get our sell signal, it will look for that 44.71 as the retrace for the positive extremes. But for now, shorts, as soon as they suck a little bit of them in, they just kind of wipe them out with the next push, and that's exactly what it takes to keep moving the market forward. So that's why we look for those things. But NASDAQ as well, congruent and taking place within a reset of steel on the DOC, meaning that there will be a whole set of new buyers available. And that's what that short cover does, because it also allows profit taking and to open up new positions for those that were on the right side of it. From a Treasury standpoint, they still believing that the Fed is going to have to soften. Um, Again, nothing indicating that at this particular stage. And with the rise in oil and things like that, I think that that's just a bit optimistic. But in some cases, those that are afraid to move into the market for fear that it has gone too far, um, missing out and also losing return. And that will be another interesting sector that will have to transition and move if the market continues to go, because they will get behind on their return, and that always creates a problem. The ridiculous move on the euro stalled off just a little bit. It's going to need to fill back some of those positive extremes. Given the exuberance that everyone feels about the eurozone somehow going to miraculously be saved because the war is in stagnation mode, and that means that the ECB is going to be able to get its act together somehow and fend off all of the unresolved debt. I mean, it's much the similar situation to the U.S. The only difference is the ECB's capacity to print unlimited amounts of money is constrained quite a bit relative to what America can do. So, and it becomes a problem within their banking setup anyway. We've talked about that ad nauseum, but this is the beauty of it. Sometimes the markets move antithetical to the reality that exists because of an expectation that that reality will change. Now, the spike up in gold is an indication of where oil is sort of taking things, and we expected that to be the case, particularly if oil stays in the upside of that range that it's currently sitting at. No shock with the Bitcoin. Still has a little more to fill back in to take care of some of these positive extremes, but um, not exactly exuberance from a short seller. This was just pretty much a softening of buyers' profit taking effect. Not as weak on ETH, but then again, Bitcoin was outside movement to the upside, certainly left it more of a range to have to fill back. From a 50K standpoint, we had the white MBI spike, but magenta never dipped below the 33 and stayed above that yellow MBI, so that until that crossover happened a little bit later, and all that did was just fill in the most recent positive extreme that took place right about here. Hasn't quite completely filled it, but um, definitely on the second one it did. And that's just more of the same within the reading. So nothing inconsistent. That cyan under red has been there a while, and it was just a matter of, we talked about that DOC moving below the negative 13.5 is the equivalent of it coming from the top, giving a little bit of weakness, but once it comes back above, the push is right back to the upside. So if we look at yesterday, we ignore the early part of the 5-minute chart there until we get to right before the open, and you can see once we opened, it was just straight up pause and then right back up. And then in the post market, you get the usual play around, goof it up and down a little bit, and kind of clear out stops and set up for the beginning of the day. And that's where we're at. So all in all, market's behaving quite nicely and pretty consistent with our expectations, at least for now. So we'll just keep following what the readings give us, and everybody's happy right now. it's a summer bliss, though it is quite extremely hot here in Italy. Have a good one, though. Look for me in Skype chat. Trade well.